Hello and welcome to the Should You Buy for the Nightstar. This is one of the mechs coming up in the Civil War Escalation pack. Now we're going to take a look at the mech's stats, its hardpoints, possible hitbox locations based on its concept art, and we're going to make a determination of whether or not you should buy this mech. We'll let us scroll on down and take a look at the pack structure. Now if you wish, and do get the Collector's or Ultimate pack, you can also get the Osiris pack along with it, and you can get some cockpit items which increase your XP and C-bill earnings. That's only if you wish to purchase a whole bunch at once, so if you just want to get this one particular mech, it's not going to relate to you. We come down here, we get the standard pricing, $20 for a standard pack, which comes with 3 battle mechs, 3 mech bays, some cockpit item swag, and the titles and badges. You go collectors, it doubles the price to $40, but you get a special variant, the NSR 9J, which has 30% C-bill boost, an additional mech bay to hold that special mech, so a bunch more cockpit item swag, and 30 days of active premium time. And we head down further, we can get the hero add-on for $15, we get the Wolf's Phoenix mech, and we also get the reinforcement add-ons for the 9P and the 10P for an additional $15. We're going to take a look at these mechs and see whether or not they're pay to win, or they're have to purchase them in order to have a meta Nightstar. We're going to just basically see if they are needed to be purchased along with the base package in order to get the most out of your mech. Now as we come down here, we click into the Nightstar and we position this correctly. There we go. We can see that the Nightstar is a 95-ton IS assault mech. So we do have an engine of 285, but it is a max engine of 345 for the majority. One of them has a 400. And we have, of course, it's a battle mech, so we can change around our armor and internal structure as we wish. And we can change around to have double heatsinks, although they all come with double heatsinks, which is quite nice. It's actually really good amount of C-bills you don't have to spend on upgrading the mech to have doubles. I like it. Also, we got a couple, just not a couple of them, one of them, the 9S here, which has a max of 4 jump jets, and one of them has ECM on the 10P. So we're going to pop over to the Spreadsheet Warrior and take a look at its stats here, the Nightstar, and we have it alongside the Osiris and Arctic Wolf that we've used in the previous videos in order to do theirs. But we'll take a look at the Nightstar. Now, we do have, the majority of them have that 345 max engine rating, and that's why I have it right here. But there is that one with a 400, so you can go a little bit higher on that particular one. So I added in the 375 and the 400 here so we could take a look at what it could do in particular. Now, this is future tech, so we are going to have light engines, and this is an inner sphere assault mech. So you're definitely not going to take an XL, because at inner sphere XLs, you're going to lose a side torso, you're going to die, you're going to be sad. We have a bunch of weight, bunch of armor. We're either going to take a light engine where we can lose a side torso and keep kicking, or we're going to take a standard because we want to do a very particular, very awesome build that I will get to shortly. But I think for the most part, you're going to have light engines on this thing. You're pretty much, I think, always going to take a max size light engine, a 345 light, and you're just going to make all of your designs work off of the 345 light. That way, if you're an engine swapper, you can swap it between all of your Nightstars, and also just, it's its engine. I really wish they wouldn't do this and have these engine ratings max out at like 345, or like with the Raven 3L at 295. Like, I hate that. Just put it 350. I want a round number. It makes my little bits of OCD so much happier if I have a nice round number. It would give it another internal heatsink slot. Make it 340. Make it 350. Please. It's 5 rating. Make it 350. No one will complain. Everybody will be happy. Well, not everybody. People won't even notice. I'll be supremely happy. But pretty much all the time, you're going to take a light 345. I don't see any reason to take a standard over a light, except for one particular build where you need the side torso critical slots, but that's going to put you at 63.2 kph, and being an IS mech, our Endo and Pharaoh are much larger than the clan counterparts, so just taking Endo and not taking Pharaoh actually has the same amount of slots as the Arctic Wolf. So it just shows you there. We are going to have, with our 345, 43.19 tons, so that's going to be 44 tons probably after you shave some stuff off. Save a little bit of armor because this assumes max armor weight. And yeah, we're going to have a decent quantity of slots available to work with stuff. It should be enough to kick some ass. We have 45.5% of our pod space is devoted to weapons. So we have 43 tons, 44 tons-ish to work for weapons. That particular one variant, the one that here that can go to 400, we have to talk about it separately here. That's why we have the 375 and the 4. If we look at the 375, we're going to go 68.7 after tweak, and we have 35.69 tons. To increase our speed by like, what, 4.5 or 5 kph, really not that much. We lose like 10.5 tons of pod space. So I really don't see a light 400 as being ever useful on this mech. This one particular variant, which goes to the 400, is really going to be either just the 345 so you can swap engines, or you're going to put on a 375 light. And that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to find a build that works with 375 light, so you just have that little bit of extra mobility with that particular variant. But we're going to pop back to the details here, and we're going to go through these. Now these are battle mechs, so we're going to look at them vertically. This one mech here has these particular hardpoints, and we can't swap them out like we did in half of the Arctic Wolves and with the Nova Cat. So let's take a look at the builds here. The 9J doesn't have jump jets, doesn't have ECM or mask. We have a total of 6 energy. We have 1 in the head, we have 2 in each arm, and we have 1 in the right torso, and 2 ballistic, 1 in each arm. So bunch of energy and a couple ballistic. What does that scream? Laser vomit and Gauss, that's for sure. So you can do just a bunch of laser vom, a pair of Gauss rifles. You could also quite easily do the 2 PPC, 2 Gauss sort of meta, as you could easily put that just in the arms, or you can maybe even squirrel one of the PPCs into the torso just to make it so if you lose a single arm, you're not going to lose half of your weaponry. You would only lose, say, the Gauss rifle. You would still have a Gauss and 2 PPCs and still be fairly effective. So great stuff there. You can do a pair of large ballistics and a bunch of backup lasers or PPCs or whatever you want to do. Other things you could probably do on this thing would be like a pair of UAC-20s and just march right up with a pair of UAC-20s and a bunch of medium lasers and just shoot them that way. But we look down here to the 9FC, the next one down. Still the same, no ECM, no mask, but this one has the max engine rating of 400, so it's slightly faster than all of the other Nightstars. Now, this one, very, very similar, but sacrifices 1 less energy hardpoint. So instead of 2 in each arm, it has 1 in each arm, and instead of 2 in the right torso, it has 1 in the right torso, it has 2 in the right torso. So it lost 2 from its arms, but it gained 1 in the torso, so it's down 1 overall. We have 5 energy, 2 ballistic. It's really similar to the 9J. Pretty much, if you can build something on the 9J and it works, you can probably make it work on the 9FC at a little bit faster speed with maybe 1 or 2 guns less, because you need to have your weight for that light 375 that you're most likely going to put on it. So good stuff, really. Very similar designs, not much to talk about here. We just need to continue on as we go to the 9S. Now this one is actually very similar to the 9J. with one extra little movement difference. It's like this standard package here is like, hey, we're going to have one thing and then we're going to copy paste it, and then we're going to change the hard points ever so slightly, and then we're just going to give them some mobility difference. It's basically what they did here, as we have jump jets. Now this thing has 4 max jump jets. It's a 95 tonner. If you take all those jump jets, you'll hopefully be able to fly. Hopefully they won't be that hover jetty, but we have a total of 4 energy and 2 ballistic. We have 1 in the head, 1 in the left torso, 1 in the center, 1 in the right torso, so nicely spread out. Very symmetrical mech. It makes me happy. And 2 ballistic, 1 in each arm again. So the same 2 ballistic we see across all of these standard packages. It's very similar, but with jump jets. Basically, again, if you can make a build work on the 9J, you can most likely make it work on the 9S, unless it's like a mass, unless it's using all of the hard points that the 9J has. But you could switch out those couple different weaponry that you would have put in those hard points for a couple jump jets, and you can have a little bit of mobility. It's good. The same builds work, laser bomb, all that kind of stuff. It's going to do on it. A couple Gauss rifles, a couple PPCs. It's great. Moving on to the reinforcement pack, and this is where it gets a little bit different as we start seeing some more ballistics than the standard packages. So the reinforcement pack, the 9P, the 10P. Looking at the 9P here, no special things to it. No ECM, no jump, no mask, nothing there. But what it does have, it has ballistics in the side torsos. So it has 4 ballistics, 2 in each arm, well, not 2 in each arm, 2 in the arms, 1 in each arm, and 1 in each torso for a total of 4, 1 energy in each arm, and 1 missile in the center torso. Now, just being 1 missile on a 95 tonner, ignore it. It's in the center torso, it's going to be crit space locked. What the best thing you can maybe do on that is like a LRM, 10? Or like an MRM 20 or something like that. It's not going to really be that worthwhile. I can't remember if an MRM 20 fits in that. But basically, it's not going to be worthwhile. You can ignore that missile hardpoint. But we're focusing on these ballistics because 95 tons and 4 ballistics we can do some great stuff with. There's the established builds like you do on the Mauler at 90 tons, the 4 UAC 5s. This one you can basically come with a couple of medium lasers as well in the arms to back it up. You can do, let's see here, you can do the Gauss PPC as well on this in the arms because you have it there. And this one is the reason that I had standard engines here just to look at. Because if you take a standard engine on this one with side torso ballistics, with Future Tech, this mech can mount a pair of heavy PPCs. Not heavy PPCs. Heavy Gauss rifles. I'm thinking of the wrong weapon system here. Because heavy Gauss rifles need all of the crit slots basically in a side torso. You can't have a light engine, you can't have an XL, you can't have anything else in there. It's just a heavy Gauss, and it fits that entire torso. So this thing could take a pair of heavy Gauss, if you wish. Alternatively, you could just do a bunch of like pair of quad UAC 5s. You could do Ultra 10s, because we're going to get those in the future. You could do mass like LB 10s, like an Annihilator can, because you're 5 tons off of Annihilator weight. You can do a lot of great stuff with this. A little unfortunate that this mass ballistic, one of the variants, isn't in the standard pack, but the standard pack has enough, I feel. With a pair of ballistics, you can do like a pair of UAC 20s or a pair of Gauss rifles. You don't really need the ballistics. It was like, if these things didn't have ballistics at all in the base pack, and these did, kind of would have been more of an issue, but there's enough, and it's just a different playstyle, not a better playstyle. These mechs here are going to be very viable. These mechs here are going to be very viable. It's just slightly different. Moving on to the 10P, its special thing is it's got ECM, so there is an ECM 95 ton assault coming for the IS. And again, it's very similar to the 9P here, we have 2 energy and 4 ballistic, the 2 energy being 1 in the head, so that's crit slot limited, because it's only got 1 slot to it, and 1 being in the right torso, but it's got a pair ballistic in each arm. So that is also crit slot limited, because you can't do things like heavy Gauss anymore on this mech. You can still do the stuff like 4 UAC 5s, and I believe I don't think you can do a pair of UAC 10s in a single arm, but I think you might be able to do a UAC 10 and UAC 5 in a single arm for the IS. I'm unsure if they're weapon sizes off the top of my head, but you can do stuff like the dual Gauss, single PPC and an ECM, and sit in the back and snipe if you wish. You can do all sorts of fun stuff with this design. ECM, it's useful, but you have to take skill tree nodes in order to get it, and maybe it's not as overpowered as it used to be. But we're moving on to the hero, and this hero is weird to me. It's nothing special about it up here, no jump jets, no ECM, no mask. But what it has is missiles. It's got 2 missiles in each side torso and 2 energy in each arm for a total of 4 energy, 4 missiles. Now, I looked at this and was like, what? What is this design? It's using up all this weight by having a standard engine. But you can take such a much larger engine, you can take up to the 345, that you're going to upgrade that engine. I could understand and maybe theorize a build if it was stuck at a lower max engine rating, because it would be like the Supernova in that sense. Okay, yeah, it's got a lower max engine rating, we can take a standard because we already have so much tonnage and the thing can't get past this engine rating. A standard is actually worthwhile. But for this, you can take a light, you can get up to 345 on it, you can have a crap ton of weight. I'm not sure how you're going to fill up without a ballistic. Because like I explained in one of the previous should you buys for this series, ballistics are where you want to go for heavier mechs because they are very, very heavy comparatively to the number of slots they occupy, where missiles are in the middle and lasers are at the end, where lasers are basically like a ton per slot because of like ER mediums and stuff like that. A ballistic maybe only like 5 or 6 slots or 7 slots, but it could be like 14 tons, so it could have 2 tons per slot. So it's a lot more using up tonnage rather than space, where energy weapons take up small amount of space, small amount of tonnage, and then their support things are heat sinks, and they take up a lot of space and low tonnage. So that's just sort of the dynamics of the different weapons. This is a mech that's going to have a lot of tonnage, but its available weapons it can take are weapons that need a lot of space. Because energy weapons, if you load it out with that, it's going to need heat sinks, so you're going to run out of space for that. Okay, load it up with missiles, but it's a slow assault. It's going to be going like, what, 63.2. Is that going to be an SRM assault? Are you going to do 4 Artemis 6s? Maybe, but I'd like to combine that with an AC-20, not 4 energies. It's just interesting. I can definitely see something like medium range missiles. Maybe that's what's going to make this mech absolutely incredible, is like a whole crap ton of medium range missiles and ammo, and that's it, and like screw the lasers or anything like that. Just fill it up with ammo for the medium range missiles and blast everything out with that. I'm not sure. I need to see some of the Civil War tech before I can make my decision on whether or not the Wolf's Phoenix is worth it or not. But it's definitely going to be different from the rest of them, as the only other missile slot is the 9P with just a single one, and because it's a single, we ignore it. But now that we have 4, we can do something with this. So I think it's going to be interesting. Maybe not overpowered or anything like that. Well, it's going to be cool. I think there's enough variety between the standard pack and the reinforcements in the hero that I'm not that worried about power creep or pay to win or anything like that. It's less of an issue than it was, say, with the Novacat, where the ballistics that were locked away in the reinforcements like shut down a playstyle. You couldn't do Pop-Tart Gauss PPC snipe without reinforcements, where this, you can easily PPC snipe with all this stuff. So there isn't like a playstyle that is completely locked out without reinforcements. But we're going to head back up here to the top, and we're going to take a look at the Nightstar and its art. And again, Alex Iglesias is a god of mech design, as this thing is beautiful, but also, holy crap, this is functional. You take a look at the cockpit, and it's got the feel of like a Marauder 2C, because it's got a great big fat butt, and it's quite squashed and elongated. It's kind of like a Stalker Marauder 2C sort of feeling. The cockpit is right at the front, but look at that PPC placement beside the cockpit. Literally in line, like you're sitting on the PPC. It's incredibly close to your reticle, so that's great. You look at where the arms are attached, right behind that PPC, and the arms don't droop at all. They're straight out arms, so if those arms weren't aiming downwards and they were aiming up, everything is in line with the cockpit. Holy crap, this is going to be a nice mech for ridge line peaking. That one with a little bit of jump jets is going to be able to easily just go, hey, how you doing? Gauss PPC your ass off. This mech is going to have some amazing hitbox, amazing hardpoint locations. It's going to be the peak king over top of a hill for the IS assault mechs. Now, there's still going to be stuff like the Battle Master, which is high energy points, but this thing, if you want ballistics over a ridgeline, this is what you want to do it on. Now, for hitboxes, it looks pretty Marauder 2C-ish, Stalker-ish. The side torsos, depends on how far they come forward on the nose, depending on how this mech is going to be that durable. Of course, it's going to have a great big old butt, and if you get behind it, you'll probably be able to core it out very easily, or if you get to the side of it, not core it out, side torso it very easily if you get to the side of the mech. But oh well, you're just going to stare down your opponents. It's going to be like that. You're just going to be at long range. You're just going to come over a hill. You're just going to fire everything. And if they look at you, they probably die. So I see no issues with durability on this mech either. This is going to be a really nice IS assault mech. And even as a clan pilot, this one's looking tasty. But that is going to be it for now. Thanks for watching this video, and good hunting.